In this shorter eFolio tutorial, our focus today will be on the planning that you do and how it impacts site navigation by those who visit your site. We'll be focusing on the mouse version of the tool, and we'll be primarily looking at 3 distinct areas. Whether you use the tool as a client or licensee of myeFolio or as a user of eFolioMinnesota, your interface and the options that we go through in this tutorial will be identical. Our first focus will be on the page structure. You find that located on the right-hand side of your screen. We will look briefly at how site designs using the Center tab for the design utility will impact the user experience. And we'll also take a moment to remind you of the 3 areas that you can populate with content in the page layout workspace, the left and right sidebar as well as the page body. Let's begin with the page layout. Related to that, we'll talk about sites and audience as well. So when you first create your account, the organization or licensing agreement that you came in under will have an impact on the pages that are in your default site. In this case, you see a home page and 5 other pages in the list. We'll talk in a future tutorial about how to change those, add more, rearrange them, rename them, etc. But for today, let me just help you see that these pages actually become the navigation links for your portfolio. So if I click on the preview button for this site, you'll notice that those same pages become links in the left-hand side of the screen using this design, and that they will also be identified in the footer area of your page. No content on this page yet, so you're only seeing the links. But that is the strength of using the page layout to your advantage. And you'll learn more about that as you continue to work within your site. Those pages can have subpages to them, and those would open up uniquely depending on the design you selected. One more thing about pages. You're not locked into the pages that you received in your default site. In fact, if you go to add another site or another view of your portfolio for a specific audience, let's say that we want to create a view for a job search. We're looking to change careers. We've just graduated from high school or college. We're ready to go out and use our portfolio along with our resume to help us locate a position. To get started, we set up the site by name. Then when we select it from the list, what you'll notice is there are no pages here at all. So you're able to build those out for yourself. The site has a unique address. Every site that you create will be recorded in your Accounts tab, and you're able to locate the URL for each of those sites to share it when you're ready or to make it public. When we look at designs within our portfolio, we're usually thinking about the look and feel, the artwork, the colors. The Design tab allows us to do that by picking from custom designs or graphical designs that might be a part of our choices. There are different choices for myeFolio users than there are for eFolioMinnesota users, but they are aligned with the colleges and organizations that license under each of our products. So if I was to pick a graphical design such as swirls, you'll notice that the page layout, the links guiding the user, are going to occur at the left-hand side of the page. Whereas if I select something called Rainy Day, those links are going to be across the top of the page. You're simply seeing placeholder information in this choice block. But if you go ahead and pick a color swatch and decide to preview what that would look like with your own site structure, the preview will actually show you the pages in the way that design will support it. If I go into some of the other options, I have the ability to have a very formal text design, again, with left side display of the links or top display of the links, and again, different colors that I can select from. There are some very patriotic designs in the military area, and as I had indicated earlier, the custom designs belong to specific colleges and organizations who have requested a branding just for their use. Within the options that you select, a design can be applied uniquely to each of the sites that are within your portfolio structure. Again, remember that the pages, whether you change them or keep them, the design, whether you keep the default or change it, allow you flexibility within the tool set that you have. And then finally, where you place content will also impact the appearance and sometimes the navigation of your viewers' experience when they come to visit your site on the web. I can place content looking at an area that you may or may not have covered before. From my content area, the storage space for anything I've added, by simply clicking and dragging an element onto the screen. But in this case, the welcome to my eFolio will actually have a different appearance based on where I place it. So if I preview it with it in the body of the page, it will look like this. If I move that object tile into the right sidebar or onto the left sidebar of the page, depending on the design I've selected, that object will either appear below my page links, extending that space, or it would have appeared to the right. If I place something to the right, it's going to limit the space available for the center part of the page. All considerations that you'll need to decide as you work with developing your content. I can use content repeatedly throughout my site. I can use it in multiple sites. I can remove it from a page. It still stays in my content area, and make those decisions as I move along. Much like moving the tiles on a board or playing a video game, I can control the way my content will appear to the user. So just to recap, the pages will impact the navigation of your site dramatically because they correspond to the links that you see on the site. The design that you select may be impacted by your audience, whether it should be more playful or more professional. And where you place content on the page can define how your site appears and how easy it is to move through. More on that in later tutorials. For now, continue to explore and enjoy your time in your eFolio as you build your identity on the web.